Alright, welcome back, folks. We're going to finish asking Bertram
What do you
some
need?
questions. I'm going to ask him about the serial killer.
Those murders are definitely the work of kindred. Probably some caitiff getting revenge on everyone who made fun of him in high school. Once the sheriff tracks this guy down, they're gonna make one hell of an example of him.
What's a caitiff?
Caitiff are just riffraff vampires who don't know anything about vampire society. Don't know their clan, mutt vampires. What I suspect you were perilously close to becoming if LaCroix hadn't intervened.
Ooh. I wanted to ask about someone else.
Sure.
What do you think about Prince
What am I
LaCroix?
gonna say? He's the boss now.
I already did that.
Sure.
What do you think about Nines Rodriguez?
From what I hear, he's a likable sort, and that's a problem. Nines Rodriguez is the kind of guy you want on your side, and more kindred go anarch every day because of him.
Let me ask you about someone else.
Sure.
Uh,
From what I hear, he's a
I
likable.
don't need to hear about that again. I see what you're saying. I want to ask you about the clans.
Sure.
Another clan. I'll ask you about the Tremere, my own clan.
Mages. I don't have any reason to trust them. They're creepy, and I think they like it that way. But to be honest, I don't hear much about the Tremere. There's a few in LA, but all in all, there's not that many of them. Sure.
4.
Well, they get a bad rap if you ask me. Everyone likes to take shots at the man in charge. But when it comes to getting the job done, the Ventru know how to step up. They can take the heat.
Yeah, if you say so. Let's see how LaCroix does in the end. I also wanted to ask you about the sex.
Yeah,
Tell me about the Anarchs.
the Anarchs. Yeah, I respect what they do, strenuous liberty and all that jazz, but they're kidding themselves. Wherever there's an ounce of power to be had, there'll be people dicking each other over. You think the Camarilla invented that?
Nope. I think I already asked about Rodriguez, so I don't need to ask that again.
Yeah,
Camarilla.
the Camarilla works. When you let vampires run wild, you wind up with caitiff frenzying in the streets, then bloods blowing the masquerade, and hunters sniffing around. Law and order is the kindred's friend.
That's probably true. What do you think about the Thin Bloods? Ooh, but the Hunters too.
Theory goes that the farther down the bloodline you are from Cain, the weaker the blood is. So if you're, say, 5th generation, the blood is strong. If you're 15th generation, you barely qualify as a vampire. A thin blood.
Oh, that's both of those are good. Sounds like the bottom of the barrel.
It is a sad state. They're weak. Their power is watered down. Most of them are caitiff, and there seems to be more and more of them. Many kindred think it's a sign of Gehenna.
Gehenna.
Gehenna, the day we all die. When our sleeping forefathers rise and bring about the end of the world. Many believe we are living in the final nights.
Ooh. Who was Cain?
Cain, the biblical brother killer. Father of all vampires.
You mentioned hunters before.
Hunters. Humans who hunt vampires. Most are half-cocked yokels, who also say they've been abducted by UFOs. The real hunters are trained by secret societies, holy orders of the church that have existed since the Middle Ages. Fear them.
I mentioned before, if you do get a lot of masquerade violations,
Like what?
you're gonna get some attention from the vampire hunters. I think you need to get several of them. Like you have to have 2 or 3 down on the masquerade. And I only have one, so I haven't seen a hunter yet. But you'll just be walking along the street, and all of a sudden, someone will be shooting and tasing your ass. And you're like, "What's that? Oh shit, I'm dead." It was a hunter. Though that's not exactly true. You can kill the hunter, although To be honest, as a Tremere, it's a little bit more difficult because not because it's difficult to kill them, but it's difficult to do it without violating the masquerade. Like if you're a Bruja, you just activate massive strength, which can't really be. It's not obviously supernatural, not necessarily. But if I send like a blood pulse and and blood strikes and stuff like that, yeah, and anyone sees it, then I just broke the masquerade. So that's a real pain in the ass. I don't want to deal with that. That's probably part of the reason the uh, Tremere are so into the Camarilla and upholding the masquerade. They don't want the attention from hunters because if they were to take them out, everyone would be like, "Oh fuck!" So they just want to keep they would keep on the down low real hard. A little interesting history about the Tremere.
Sure, fledgling.
Do the sec.
It's war out there after all. You should know all you can about the different sides.
Exactly. Um, Basically, the Tremere originally, Diablerie is looked down on really hard, and all of them know that the Tremere originated as from Diablerie, eating a vampire. So they were looked on down on pretty hard for a long while. But once the Sabbat started existing, the other vampire clans just decided to forgive and forget, I guess, because the Tremere became very powerful very quickly. Because between becoming vampires and also their high knowledge of the arcane, they were powerful allies against the Sabbat. So when the Camarilla first started, they couldn't look away. They were like, "Well, that's just too useful." Anyway, I want to know more about the Sabbat.
You ask me, the Sabbat makes no sense. They couldn't care less about the masquerade, and they seem to care even less about themselves. It's like, hey, let's all spread hell on Earth so we can feel big and bad. Oops, I'm dead. Now how did that happen?
Uh, that's kind of true. Well, I'm a big badass. Oh, I'm dead. What happened? How did that happen? Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. That's good. I think that's it. I think that's all we can talk to him about. So now, the warehouse mostly lies at the bottom of the Pacific, with the new few pieces neatly lodged in the lawn in Pasadena. Report to the Prince LaCroix at the Venture Tower in downtown. All right, it's time to get out of here. Let's go. Can you imagine listening to an oil drum? This is actually kind of odd. Usually they live in the sewers. And he doesn't even have like a way to string this up so sunlight doesn't come in. I mean, this is kind of an odd place to live, really, for a vampire. But anyway, I don't care. No biggie. Let's go get that money and finish that quest before we get the taxi. We can get a taxi. Well, actually, I need a fair amount of blood, don't I?
Soon it will wash over and carry you all to the damnation sea.
Sure will.
Gaze upon me and see reflected the contempt of your savior. Mock me as you scorn the Lord's love. The damned laugh loudest before they lose their heads.
Yeah, you don't get much blood from bums, and I don't want to take the chance of killing him on accident. Losing humanity for no reason. If I'm losing humanity, it's going to be in a dialogue option. I'm not just going to lose a humanity option. Anything interesting to say?
Need something specific, like, or just here to shoot the breeze?
See if he has anything interesting
What
to
do you
say.
want to know?
I guess he doesn't have anything to say. So, time to feed my hunger, Kilpatrick, you nasty bastard.
Caller, you've got got the first shot
I wish they'd have like,
So, who do you want to make the visual
you know, that's one of the things I don't like. I wish they had like a hot chick somewhere that you could do that
There you
to.
go.
You have that nasty guy who's real easy. You have the ups the uptight dude back in the alley. You can do it too. But I guess it's kind of like real life.
Your wickedness and
It's real easy. You want to go do some nasty dude as a gay person. It's probably not all that hard. If you want to like a hot chick, you gotta pay them. So you know they got plenty of prostitutes hanging around. So I guess that's kind of realistic. But I mean, you're a vampire, so you can like sneak into apartments and stuff like that. So why can't I just sneak into an apartment? Like, why isn't there a hot chick in an apartment that I can just go into? Oh, is he not here anymore? Oh, how unfortunate. Anyway, let's go get my money from LaCroix, and we'll also check my apartment to see if there's anything new there. There just may be. Maybe not yet, but there could be. Let's take a look.
The dead of night. The only girl who will spend the night with you.
Not yet, I guess.
Guaranteed. Well, looks
Let's
like the
see.
boys are loading up. Another popular one.
Let me
Let's
check the
see.
time here. Oh, I never actually did the time here.
Call.
This video is probably just at like 10 minutes, but I want to
Hi, Deb. This is, Vigo.
Vigo. So,
you can listen to some of these real quick before I go. I don't think it's quite up to 20, so.
Here at the, yacht club.
How many boats do you own, Vigo?
2. Actually 3. One is, in the shop.
I used to do a little yachting myself. What brand of yacht do you have?
You probably wouldn't know the brand. I, bought them in Italy.
Ah, la Italia bella. Parlate italiano?
Yes.
Arrivederci, Vigo. Caller 2, you're on the deck.
I meet that guy eventually.
Thank you.
Hello, caller.
Anyway, I didn't set the timer. I think I only went like 10 minutes this time,
Caller
but
number 3, what's keeping you up tonight?
Deb, listen to me, Deb. They're at it again, and people have got to know. They've got to know because they don't know. They won't report this stuff on the news because they own the news.
Hello, Gomez. What's the latest conspiracy?
Conspiracy.
I love that
It's
stuff.
not conspiracy, okay? There's no word for something as devious and secret as this, you understand? People need to hear this. They need to know the real story.
You've got our undivided attention.
All right. As we all know, the Americans established a moon base back in the late 70s. That's no secret. What most people don't know is that they have been conducting a dig. Not for resources, but for artifacts.
I see.
Well, it's no coincidence that the Chinese have started conducting space missions. You know why? I'll tell you why. The reason is because the Chinese are trying to stop the Americans from finding an ancient space probe sent by the Beta Centaurians. And why? Because the Beta Centaurians are giving space technology to the Chinese to get back at the Andromedans, aka the Greys, for giving space technology to the Americans in the 50s.
Fascinating.
The American government's been putting more money into space. Don't you see what's happening? I can't believe I'm the only one that's figured it out. Am I the only person alive that can see what's going on? It's because the Andromedans and the Betas are going to be fighting their war in this galaxy through us, Deb. And the American people, the people of Earth, you people, cannot let this happen. It's move versus Atlantis all over again.
Thank you, Gomez, and that concludes the news portion of the show.
Alright, well, I like letting you listen to the radio. It is pretty funny, the stuff on the radio. I don't really feel right just sitting here and listening through the whole audio of the radio, just sitting here silent. So, we'll stop this video here, and we'll start again, and we'll go down to downtown.